by people like Migos, Lil Uzi Vert, like Drake. They're not like, their music is great to listen to, but they are not in this group of people. Like Pusha T is kind of like getting more and more to that group. You got people like, even from people like Pharrell to people like Freddie Gibbs to people like MF Doom to people like the Tyler Creator, Domo Genesis, Earl Sweatshirt, like that kind of like clump of people. Yeah, and James Wild writing in on the comment section. Of course, you can chat live if you're listening live on Spreaker.com/TSWS. In the loss of MF Doom, it's weird how much I'm appreciating those off-mainstream, incredibly creative rappers. That is like, when he said rightly so, we need Freddie Gibbs now more than ever. Like, that is, I think, especially true because, like, we need that flair. We need that kind of, like, new flavor, the new... like the kick me up, the little pickup that you get from a Freddie Gibbs song, like such a simple beat, just like this kind of like looped up version of this woman singing, like probably from like a super old song or something like that, and it is still like interspersed with kind of it's creative, it's simple, and it works because in a large way it's backed up by three stellar rappers: Freddie Gibbs, Pusha T, and Killer Mike. But yeah, like that's a very interesting conversation, versus battle. I think he could. Pusha T, such a talented rapper, especially recently. Like, there's verses on verses you could go to. Some of those songs, they're not always iconic, but that would be an incredible verses that I would love to see. We should do kind of like the simulated verses here on Uncultured. I don't know, that may be a good series. But he does have a new track, Gang Signs, with Schoolboy Q, and yeah, it's really kind of a sort of release, I would say, that only an MC at the height of his powers could churn out. He invited Schoolboy Q on the track because the two had never linked up before. It just seemed logical. And I mean, honestly, Schoolboy Q kind of being in that same space as Freddie Gibbs, I would argue, makes a lot of sense. Like, it's kind of like, why didn't these guys ever figure out that they should be collaborating before? Yeah, that's the kind of MC Gibbs is. If you fuck with him, he'll take care of you. He'll hype you up. He'll expect you to do the same because it's all love. If it's not, well, let's hope you don't end up on the wrong end of a Freddie Gibbs diss track, because he can go bar for bar with just about anyone. And I think that's something that people don't realize. Like, there are so many talented rappers that so many people like don't know about. And it's hard to tell, really, but I think people more than ever are starting to find out about Freddie Gibbs. That is for sure. I mean, an album, if you look at Alfredo, that is just chock full of pretty much no skips. Like, or I mean, if you could pull out the album here, we could. Yeah, I'm just gonna go through it. Just give it the rundown. 1985, I'm for that. Scotty Beam, I'm for that. Frank Lewis, Something to Rap. Skinny Suge, especially. Yeah, and all the other ones, they're not even that bad, but they're all like just such a incredibly like, and also I would argue a concept album that kind of is very much like one vibe throughout. It's not a collection of songs. It is a unique and tied together concept for sure. Yeah, so yeah, he still has not reached his peak. When asked about what made him think Schoolboy Q would be right to hop on this new track, Gang Signs, to be honest, it's long overdue. I was just trying to put something together that was suitable for him. Gang Signs was probably the first record I did when I signed with Warner. I walked in the studio, laid it down, and sat on it for a while without having a featured artist in mind. Eventually, I was like, man, I'm going to give this to Q, because we haven't worked together yet, which seems crazy, and it came together just like that. It was super easy, and like it actually was quite surprising that you saw that they haven't worked together before, because it just seems so natural. It seems like something that would completely make sense given their kind of backgrounds and their mutuals, I guess you could call it. But here they are now on Gang Signs.
Yeah. Yeah. How we riding in the dope with the dope shit. Riding in the Volvo with the dope shit. Yeah, Volvo with the dope shit. Yeah, hey, Every day I need a dope flip. I was on some rope shit. A nigga was a pope pimp. Do or die. Nigga play me on some more shit. A nigga might as well kill his motherfucking self. It's a suicide. Got a Draco, let it rip. Nigga hopped up quick, so I had to double back. Hit him 2 times. I ain't new to this shit, bitch. I'm true to this shit. And every morning I wake up and throw a gang sign. I just wanna be legit. Fuck a bad insta bitch. Bunny rabbit off the rip. Bunny rabbit wrist is lit. Mighty know it's lit. All is well in this bitch. 100 shells in this bitch. 50 shells in this bitch. Never tell in this bitch. Fuck 12, suck a dick. Fuck 12, suck a dick. Cutlass, hard talk with the top off. Hit Diego, he gon' hit me with the drop off. Tryna floss in the town, get you knocked off. Take a chain and your ring and your watch off. I just wanna be legit. Fuck a bad insta bitch. Bunny rabbit off the rip. Bunny rabbit wrist is lit. Freddie Corleone, fuck 12, suck a dick. Every day I need a dope flip. I was on some rope shit. A nigga was a pope pimp. Do or die. Nigga play me on some more shit. A nigga might as well kill his motherfucking self. It's a suicide. Got a Draco, let it rip. Nigga hopped up quick, so I had to double back. Hit him 2 times. I ain't new to this shit, bitch. I'm true to this shit. And every morning I wake up and throw a gang sign.
What he takes on that, ayy, what he rap in that, hey, at the Grammy still strapped, ayy, I'm glowing cause a nigga straight, I'm happier than yesterday, we bout to beat the homie case, tears on his daughter face, just trying to help with what I make, ayy, is it just feelings or rap lines, he get wet, he ain't baptized, no white man gon' save mine, belt won't help my waistline, still gon' die for my groove line, goddamn right as fuck one time, way too crip to go live, you take 1, we take 9, we don't stop at stop sign, might get 50 and that's fine, I just might pop, I keep trying.
Every day I need a dope flip. I was on some rope shit. A nigga was a pope pimp. Do or die. Nigga play me on some more shit. A nigga might as well kill his motherfucking self. It's a suicide. Got a Draco, let it rip. Nigga hopped up quick, so I had to double back. Hit him 2 times. I ain't new to this shit, bitch. I'm true to this shit. And every morning I wake up and throw a gang sign.
There you go, gang signs, Freddie Gibbs and Schoolboy Q on that track. New out recently. And yeah, we do have more of this interview to kind of get into. And we have kind of a very interesting situation. So, Freddie Gibbs, he's been nominated for a Grammy. Like, that is the kind of crazy thing about this. And what he was asked about, what his reaction, he said, I'm expected to be nominated every year. Nah, like he knows what's going on. He said, I don't think the Grammys didn't have me in mind, and like I wasn't making music for the Grammys. And he said he kind of began to accept that. You got to be able to like take that into account. And you see people like that. He was started to kind of accept that he was more underground. And then of course he does get nominated for the Grammys. Yeah, he said, they surprised me this year, and I'm thankful, I'm humble about it, and I'm glad I got invited to the party, but now I feel like I should win. And I mean, he's right. He could be right. Like, I mean, what other albums were better this year? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's something that we could look into. But I've been saying that I have the best album for the jump, and I think that the fact the Grammys nominated proves that. Praise Allah got nominated, but now I'm like, I really want to win, and that's a completely natural nomination. That like for reaction to a nomination like that. Like once you're in it, like don't you want to win it? Like that is especially when you have the belief in yourself that Freddie Gibbs clearly does. And yeah, we're actually gonna pull that up because we should. It's only fair. Like we got some Grammy nominations here that are kind of quite interesting. Yeah, it's best. Is it best rap album or is it? It's no way. It's best. Yeah, rap album. Is it rap album of the year? Like I'm sure they have like a bazillion different like categories for it. But yeah, rap. Okay. Best rap performance, best rap melodic performance, album of the year. Oh no, this is my apologies. This is just general. Yeah, best rap song, best rap album, Black Habits, D-Smoke, Alfredo, Freddie Gibbs, a written testimony, King's Disease, and The Allegory. For me, it's a head-to-head race between A Written Testimony by Jay Electronica, an absolutely delightful kind of thing that I listened to it all in one go as I was coming back from like a trip to like Virginia. I was in Virginia. I was coming back, literally back over like the Tappan Zee Bridge back to New York, and this was literally right as quarantine came into effect. So like Jay Electronica was like the last thing I heard in non-pandemic times, because right after that ended, we were kind of back in or entering hell for these. This was pretty much been this past few years. So, so Alfredo, a written testimony, really could go head to head there. So pretty good, pretty interesting nominations. And Nas could be a third, very interesting. But Freddie, if he did win this, especially after an album like Igor did it with Tyler the Creator, who at this point has clearly become mainstream. He is a celebrity if anyone else is. Like it's clear at this point. You wonder, is Freddie Gibbs maybe a year and a half down from that path, but like before being recognized? And you have to. I personally don't see him changing up his status or his style or his way of doing things anytime soon. But it is pretty cool to see that he is getting some of the recognition, and that the Grammys are possibly getting more and more into, dare I say it, the underground. They're actually making people happy with their nominations who are traditionally always pissed off and have just dismissed the Grammys outright. It's pretty good, and it's pretty interesting that they want to go in this direction. I think it makes sense given their past questions, shall we say. He says, quote, "I'm going to drop an album this year because I want to be in the rap album of the year category again for the next Grammy." So that's a pretty good incentive. That's fine by me as an incentive to keep dropping. He says, "What happens if you don't?" That's the question. Oh man, I think I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully, I'll be back there in another year. This could be the first of many nominations. I'm just happy my stuff's getting recognized. So win or lose, I've already won. That's the attitude that you should have. But like, is he really feeling that way? I don't know. You can't be 100% sure. Can't go inside his mind and say, oh, he's like seething. But you gotta imagine like he wants this thing pretty bad. Was Alfredo the Sort of record you knew was a classic while you were recording it? It's a tribute to Alchemist, if we're being honest. He replies here, Freddie Gibbs. I felt like he was really in his bag. Guys like Alchemist, Madlib, they really bring the best rapper out of me. Once he started rolling out the beats, I was like, oh man, it was all a layup, man. I promise Alfredo was the easiest album I've ever recorded in my life. I feel like people praise my lyrical ability on there, but I've been lyrical. I've had bars. With Alfredo, I was just sparring, and I ended up knocking their ass out. It was like when Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson. People say there's some of my best raps. I guess I can agree with them, but the competitor in me knows I got better shit to come. So, like, that is a great guy. Like, you can tell clearly, like, Freddie Gibbs right now is functioning at, like, peak capacity. He's humming with energy, and it's so exciting and awesome to see. What was it about working with a single producer that locks you in here, right? So, everything has to make sense when you're working with a single producer. The lyrics have got to make sense. The title has to make sense. The whole presentation of it has to make sense. There may be 5, maybe less than 5 that I would do that with. I know Alchemist and Madlib will be at the top of the list for me. And ain't that many producers, no disrespect to anybody. You know what I mean? But there ain't that many producers that I would do a full project with, because again, it's just like you got to have that full like the full collaboration, and you got to like Freddie, like he is someone who like picks and chooses producers. He's kind of like the pitcher in baseball that like they have a set catcher that can only catch them. When they pitch, they have to have the blank catcher catching, and like I feel like that's kind of the similar relationship that we have here with like Madlib and like he has it with Madlib and the Alchemist. Or just Alchemist in general. So are there any of the top of your head you would like to do a record with? I don't know, man. I'm all in with Alchemist and Madlib, so I don't really know yet. I can't really scratch the surface on who I would want to do a full new project with other than those two guys. When you're doing these one producer albums, do you almost treat your role as a creative director? Is the question from the interviewer Will Stube here in Complex. He says, yeah, definitely. Me and Lambo, which is his manager, treat every project like it's a presentation, not just 10 to 15 songs that you're streaming. And you can really tell. You can tell that it is a presentation. It's really one of those albums that I think should win Album of the Year because of that. Like, it is it's not just a collection of songs. It's just like they're slapped together kind of haphazardly, and they're not really sure. They're not really that confident. You're like, okay, like here we are. This is kind of what it is. No, like this is a